Hello there everybody, it is me XfreezerBunny and welcome back to part 2 of rebuilding Copperdale High. So in this part we're going to be finishing off furnishing this high school build, and before we start I actually want to give you guys a quick update on my giveaway. So since I've been getting comments from people about their comments being deleted in that video, I decided to actually extend my giveaway by a couple more days so you guys can go back to the video, try to comment again, or if you have already left a comment, please make sure that your contact information is included in your comment, otherwise you can't win the giveaway, okay? So if you already left a comment, please go ahead and edit your original comment to include your contact information. Again, the whole deleting comments thing is not really in my control. It's something that YouTube does for some strange reason. I still don't know the reason for it, so I can't give you guys a definitive explanation, but apologies for the hassle, and the giveaway will officially end on the 8th of August, which is going to be 2 days from now, so that should give you guys a little bit more time to go back to the video, edit your comment, or post a new comment, and hopefully it won't be deleted this time. So yes, in this video I do plan on talking a little bit more about my high school experience, but I actually want to take this time to share my favorite coming of age stories from some of the media that I did watch growing up, and I did think long and hard about it because for some reason it wasn't easy for me to think of a coming of age movie that I really loved. But now that I've had time to think about it, I want to say that my favorite coming of age movie is actually Meet the Robinsons. Yeah, I know, that's kind of surprising. It's not a particularly well-known Disney film. I mean, it's definitely a more lesser-known movie compared to like some other more well-known shows like Up, for example, but Meet the Robinsons for some reason just left such an impression, and I still keep coming back to it, feeling all nostalgic, and I think that kind of feeling is what you really want to have when you are thinking of your favorite coming of age film. I just love coming back to Meet the Robinsons. I love the story, really heartwarming, and also really heartbreaking in some parts. It's about letting go, and that's all I'm gonna say, but the music is also incredible as well, and the visuals are also pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad I was part of that generation, kind of like the second generation of the Disney Renaissance, because a lot of the shows and movies that I grew up with were actually second gen. So, you know, things like Little Mermaid 2, The Lion King 2, I absolutely loved as well. Now that I think about it, there's actually quite a few coming of age movies that I really liked. I also really loved Marie Antoinette, definitely top 3 for me in terms of coming of age films. So yeah, I also talked about my favorite series in my Heartstopper inspired London townhouse build, so if you want to hear me rant about that, I've already done that. I absolutely loved Heartstopper, but I think my favorite coming of age series would probably have to be Anne with an E, because I love period drama, and that show is just so well done. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to the interior, I was able to use those new Art Deco floor tiles. I really love these floor tiles that take advantage of the ability in-game to rotate tiles. So these tiles came with borders, and these are the same tiles I use in my library build, and I also use them quite a lot in the hallways of this high school. And right now we are actually working on the principal's office. So yeah, for the most part, I did try to space out the furniture similar to how EA did in their high school, because I want this to be functional, so I didn't want the Sims to get stuck, or I didn't want you guys to have any problems with gameplay. So I did try my best to space things out. a little bit more than my normal stuff. I do like to, have more intimate spaces, but because of the way the Sims move around, you kind of need to have a lot of space in between items. So that's what I did. Also, the principal's office has a little kind of lounge area that has a little secretary area over there as well. The principal's office is one of those gameplay specific areas that you need to have because there are some principal specific interactions when you are starting off high school. Oh, and there's also a little elevator area over here as well. I don't know why, but I just thought that having an elevator would make this more inclusive. So I just use a door from get to work. Because yeah, elevators are weird. They have some gameplay features that I wasn't sure if would be compatible with the high school gameplay, so I just decided to not have an elevator here. Because the Sims spawn on elevators, but there is a specific area in this high school where the Sims spawn, so I didn't want the functional elevator to interfere with that. And over here, actually, I am working on making some minor changes to this area of the cafeteria using curved walls. I really wanted to use curved walls, and I thought that this would be a perfect feature for me to add to this kind of like hallway area, because I really wanted the cafeteria to kind of like be a really big space, kind of as a reference to High School Musical's cafeteria, which is in my opinion one of the most iconic cafeterias ever. But this one is definitely more traditional, definitely kind of like more boarding school-y, if I want to say. Oh yeah, in case you guys didn't know, the main inspiration for this build was Blackwell Academy from Life is Strange, which is probably one of my favorite coming-of-age video games. But yeah, the cafeteria is pretty big. Really happy with the layout. Yeah, floor planning does take a lot of time, and you can also spend a lot of time making some adjustments as well to the layout. But here I actually used 2 of those cafeteria stations based on the gameplay that I had when I was playtesting this. There's only like really one functional cafeteria station. Even if you have 2, it wouldn't automatically spawn a second like cafeteria lady, so keep that in mind. The other cafeteria station will be left empty for the most part. And once again, I am spacing out these dining areas because I don't want the Sims to get stuck. Yeah, when I was playtesting this, they were all crowding around that cafeteria station, which was mildly frustrating because I would want this cafeteria to feel quite lively and crowded because that's kind of what it was designed for. But yeah, I'm using objects from Eco Lifestyle. These are unlockable items from Eco Lifestyle. These are really good actually. Like one of the more realistic pieces of furniture that we have, so really glad I was able to use them. And of course I also threw in a little vending machine over there as well. So yeah, I think the cafeteria turned out really nicely. Really enjoyed it. And actually, I want to know what your guys' high school experience is. That was kind of a weird tangent, but I do want to take this opportunity to talk about my high school experience because I actually really enjoyed my high school years. Oh, see what I did there? I got heavily bullied when I was in elementary school, and when I was in high school, I was so scared that I was going to be bullied, but that wasn't the case. I was able to meet a lot of new friends, and I was able to be in a really tight-knit, close class. Like our whole classroom unit was really close and tight-knit, and everyone was looking out for each other, and I'm really lucky to have those people when I was in high school because it made my high school experience really amazing and memorable. Anyway, moving on to the classroom. So this school ended up having 2 classrooms. These classrooms are pretty much identical, and once again I tried to mimic the way EA did their classrooms in terms of spacing out the desks. So this classroom ended up having a total of 9 desks, When I was playtesting this, I noticed that there's only really 6 sims that uses the classrooms at a time. So yeah, it's not gonna be full no matter what, unless things change. But I did play around 3 days worth of high school gameplay, and in my experience, there's only really 6 sims that use the classrooms, so yeah. Also used university quite a bit in this, as you guys might have seen. I used that banner. I did decide to use the Brightchester color swatch options because I thought those fit in a little bit better with the vibe I was going for with the school. And you guys probably just saw me just copy that classroom downstairs to the upstairs because, like I said earlier, they're pretty much identical. And those should be functional classrooms as well. I did notice that the classrooms seem to be randomly generated because one day I had class downstairs and the other day I had class upstairs, so don't actually know how that is determined. But anyway, moving on to the art classroom. This isn't really a functional classroom per se. Your sims aren't gonna have any lectures in here or anything, but you can come here and learn skills because they did put some skill items in here, did put some easels in here, and I think there are going to be some like daily quests for you to fulfill that will require you to learn certain skills, which is why I did try to put skill items throughout this school as well. But this is one of my favorite rooms. I really enjoyed this classroom. I am such an artist. I loved art class. I love drawing, sketching, painting. When I was in high school, we actually had a choice to pick an elective for our, I don't know, was it home economics? Yes, it was home economics. So obviously a lot of people chose the cooking elective. I chose the art one, which is kind of weird, not something you would expect from home economics, but basically it was more of like a crafty like elective because they taught us a lot about painting and like, you know, t-shirt printing and stuff like that. Yeah, we got to learn quite a lot of those kind of like crafty skills. I don't know why, because we also had like music, arts, and PE class as well, which is all in one class, which is kind of weird, but yeah, that's the elective that I chose and I really enjoyed it. Actually, I met quite a lot of friends there as well. I really enjoyed the oil painting part of it. I think it's because our professor, teacher at the time was a painter, so that's what we were heavily taught on. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I actually am pretty curious about your guys' high school setup because it's pretty weird where I'm from, because basically we started high school quite young, which is kind of like the old like educational system in my country. Back then, kids started high school when we were 12 years old, which is pretty young to start high school in my opinion. But literally the year after I graduated, which was in 2011, they changed the educational system so that the high school would include a junior and senior high, because during my time, after you graduate from high school, you immediately start college. So high school is 4 years, and then after that you immediately start college. And I started college when I was 16, which in my opinion is a bit young to start college, which is also why I feel like I really struggled in college. Anyway, this isn't a college build, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about high school for a second. But the library, really fun. I love the bright colors, and this is actually one of the more modern rooms in this school. And right now we are actually working on the music room, which is another one of my favorite rooms. And actually one of my favorite anime / manga is Nodame Cantabile. And I just tried to kind of like reference that as I was building this room as well. And I really enjoyed it. Also, another anime that I absolutely loved was Your Lie in April, and yeah, hopefully you can see a little bit of that in this area as well. But going back to my high school little story time. Funny story, I was actually class president during my freshman year of high school, which was such an achievement in my opinion. And for the rest of my high school years, there I go again. I was actually a class officer. Another thing that's kind of weird in high schools where I'm from is that during the start of the school year, we do elect our class officers, which are basically like your class president, you have a vice president. I was treasurer for my 2nd to 4th years of high school, which in my opinion is the hardest class officer duty you can possibly have, because you are in charge of like your funds for your class, okay? And this is like a lot of money. Usually it's weird because I did go to a public school for high school, but a lot of the a lot of the things that we had to pay for actually came out of pocket. So yeah, that was quite weird. If you needed to have a class t-shirt, the students had to pay for it, even if we were a public school. And I, being the treasurer, had to be the one responsible for collecting the funds for that. So yep, I did get to handle a lot of money at a young age, and that was pretty intimidating, but I can proudly say that there was no controversy during my time as class treasurer. Actually, all of the funds were accounted for. We even had excess funds, which I had to give back to our class advisor, which is something I'm really proud of. And I guess that's the reason why people kept voting for me for treasurer, because, none of the funds get lost or anything. Not that that's a normal thing, but you guys get what I mean. So yeah, let me know what your guys' interesting high school stories are. I definitely want to talk more about this in maybe a future build about maybe like a Filipino high school. I would love to do it at some point, but really enjoyed sharing a little bit of that personal experience for you guys, because yeah, high school feels like a lifetime ago, even though that was like a couple of years ago for me. Well, anyway, there is also a little computer lab over here. I'm not sure if people need to be taught how to use computers nowadays, because when I was in high school, we were definitely needed to be taught how to use computers, because a lot of us did not know the basics of using computers. But I feel like that already comes naturally to young people nowadays, so I'm not sure how practical having this classroom would be. Maybe like for programming or something, you can do that. And over here, finally, we have a little conference area. This actually an extra little room. You can put in more skill items in here if you want to. I feel like that room would be perfect to have like some athletic skill items, because I noticed that in the original Sims High School they had some gym equipment, which in my opinion is kind of weird for a high school having like gym equipment, but you can put those in the conference room. And over here we have a little faculty room / teacher's lounge. So there's a little kitchen over here. By the way, the faculty door does not allow students to walk through it, so you're gonna have to either unlock it or change the door itself if you wanna be able to go to the room that has that door. So just please keep that in mind. And over here outside, we have a little chest area as well. I just decided to include this nice little quiet area for people to work on their logic skill. But I just want to quickly talk about this stairs actually that I totally forgot to talk about in my previous builds, but these stairs are pretty epic, not gonna lie. And I can totally see myself eating lunch here or like hanging out with friends overlooking the sports field, so that's pretty cool. That was kind of like the main concept for that stairs anyway, because it overlooked the sports area. But it looks like that is actually going to be it for this build. Once again, you guys, if you want to enter my giveaway, you still have time to edit your comments or to post a new comment if your comment got deleted by YouTube for some reason. But with that being said, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for joining me in this epic high school build for my very first high school in the Sims 4 high school years. Thank you guys so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.